I still back up on this man got it in the right. Nice to see you. Hi, how are you? Very good, Baruch Hashem. Good. How's Detroit? Good. Baruch Hashem, good. Erev Tov, everyone. The parsha begins that the Ribono Shel Olam tells Moshe, Bo el Paro. So the Meforshim all say it should say Bo Lifnei Paro, appear before the Pharaoh. What is Bo el Paro? Into Paro. So the Torah tells Moshe that he should understand Paro and what drives Paro. Because Moshe is somewhat convinced that he with Paro. We'll go for 3 days. And that assumes that Paro's stubbornness is based upon a logical system. Every negotiation between two parties, so you have to understand what the other party really wants. And then it becomes clear where the path of compromise can be reached. So the Torah tells Moshe, Bo el Paro. Come, understand Paro. Go into his mind. Why does he behave the way he behaves? And Moshe has now, if you look at what Paro says and does, so Moshe realizes that Paro is irrational. His advisors said to him, "Haterem teida ki avdo Mitzrayim." Don't you understand? Egypt is ruined there. Stop already. But Paro is not willing to stop. And the Torah explains what is motivating Paro is ki ani ichbarati es libo. I have hardened his heart. I've taken away from him any logical, rational behavior. So he's only left with stubbornness. Why? So the Torah explains that as well. L'man t'saper b'oznei bincha v'en bincha es asher yisalalti b'Mitzrayim. Golus Mitzrayim is a paradigm. It's an example. It's not a one-off. We see throughout Jewish history, we have irrational enemies that act against their own self-interest. We have the example of our friends, the Palestinians. Everything they do is against them. But that's Kiani Ichbaradi Islima. I have hardened his heart. Laman Shisi Ososai Eile Bekirbo. Because I want to make an example of him. The Makkos become an example of what happens to people when they lose their rationality. when they lose the sense of proportion, when they lose the idea of the difference between what I want and what is. And these are important concepts because all of us have a little Pharaoh in us too. That's the Chafetz Chaim in his Sefer Shmir Saloshim tells an anecdote that he said that in the village that was next to his, there were two families that quarreled bitterly, and that it went over generations. It's not only the original ones quarreled, they went down to the children and the grandchildren, and it was a bitter machlokas in this small town. And the Chafetz Chaim wanted to ameliorate the situation. So he went to the town and he met with one of the families. And at that time, uh, infants, children, somehow began to pass away, God forbid, in the town amongst these families. So the Chafetz Chaim said to him, you see what's happening here? Let go. It's not worth it. And he quotes there that the man said to him, Rebbe, he said it in Yiddish, Ich will begraben alle meine Kinder. I'm willing to bury my entire descendants, aber ich will ausführen. I'm going to win here. And the Chofetz Chaim just makes a comment at the end of the story. Zeh ma shenikra ba'olam ausführen. That's what people say when they say they're going to win. So the Torah describes that's where Pharaoh is staying. That's the level that he's reached. He doesn't care. Geovdo Mitzrayim. He's going to win. It's his terms. That's part of the problem always that exists in any dispute or in any type of public event. Uh, the totality of winning is rarely, if ever, achieved, even when the people think they achieved it. After World War II, West Germany hired all the Nazis to put them back in the bureaucracy so that the country could run. And America and England agreed. We have countless examples in history of that. So that's why the Torah says, Laman Tisaper Boznei Bincha Ben Bincha. This is not only a lesson for you, Moshe. It's not only a one-off situation of Pharaoh and Mitzrayim and his stubbornness and the slavery, all of that. It's an example. You'll tell it to later generations so that they'll also be able to recognize situations that are similar, that involve them as well, and to understand the enemy, so to speak. and not to be befuddled to think that rational explanations, persuasion will somehow be of value. Because in the real world, we have seen over and over again that that's not what occurs at the end. So we're in such a situation too. One should say regarding the Palestinians and Hamas and Aterem Teda Ki Avdo Mitzrayim. How many more bombs do you want? But they're not willing to be rational about it. And because of that, therefore, we rely that the Rabboni Shalom will perform also so most soon for us as well, so that we'll be able to have a modicum of triumph, a little accomplishment for all that has been expended. And that's why the parashas of the Torah are so relative to us. They're so germane to our existence. The Torah speaks about current events, doesn't speak about history. The Torah is talking about now. So that's something that we should keep in mind and would give us perspective on how to deal with the events that surround us and that will yet befall us. Rabbi Hanania ben Akashi Omer Asa HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakos Es Yisrael Afichal Chir B'Lahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemer